Fast, furious, unputdownable, and under 300 pages. Here are 15 thriller books you can binge in one sitting. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Carly, and today I'm going to be talking through some teeny tiny snack-sized thriller books that you can binge in one sitting. These books are perfect if you're looking for something quick and easy to read. They're perfect for your reading goals because they're not going to take you long to get through. And I guarantee every single one of these books will have you hooked from the very first page. They are all perfect little palate cleansers. They are ideal if you're in a reading slump as well. The slump will not stand a chance against these books. Before we get into the books, I just want to say that some of them are slightly over 300 pages. I promise I haven't lured you here under false pretenses. Some of them are literally like 4 or 5 pages over 300. If books are your jam and you're enjoying my content, I would absolutely love it if you decided to hit that little subscribe button below and stick around and join me for plenty of bookish shenanigans. I also want to apologise for my croaky voice. I'm just getting over a chest infection, so I'm not sounding my best, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm going to leave the intro there and dive straight into these books. First up, we have got No Exit by Taylor Adams. This book is 285 pages, and when I tell you this book gave me the worst anxiety while I was reading it, I'm not lying. Like, I was stressed. It follows the story of a college student called Darby. She ends up stranded at a highway rest stop in the middle of nowhere after being cut off by a snowstorm. There are 4 other strangers in the same rest stop as Darby. They're all there to kind of like wait out the storm. And when Darby goes outside to try and get phone reception, she discovers a young girl is being held captive and she's been locked inside one of the parked cars. Now, that in itself is bad enough on its own, but it soon dawns on Darby that one of the 4 strangers inside the rest stop must be responsible for kidnapping this girl. So she's literally stood in the car park thinking, what on earth do? I need to try and save this little girl. But also there's the danger, the unknown danger of who's actually done it. And to be honest, that's all I'm going to say about the plot in itself because I don't want to give anything away. There are twists and turns throughout the whole book. It had me gripped from the very beginning. I was so stressed while I was reading it. My heart was in my mouth. My heart was pounding. And honestly, this book will have you on the edge of your seat the entire time you're reading it. I highly recommend it. I actually think it's set around Christmas time as well, so perfect for December. Next up, we have got The Last Thing to Burn by Will Dean. This book is 272 pages and it follows the story of our main character called Jane. She is being held captive in her house by her own husband. He records her every move and punishes her for the most ridiculous things. And to be honest, I'm not going to say too much more about the plot because again, I don't want to spoil anything, but it pretty much just escalates. It just builds and builds until we get this epic finale. And yeah, literally, this was the most stressful book I have ever read. Next up, we have got Happy Marriage by A.R. Torre. This one is available on Kindle Unlimited and it is 253 pages. It follows the story of married couple Dina and Joe. On the surface, their marriage is a very happy one, hence the title, but both of them have been lying to each other and both of them have been keeping secrets. So Dina is a homicide detective and Joe is a psychiatrist, is he? Or is he a doctor? I can't actually remember. I read this book bloody ages ago. And a woman goes missing that is tied to the wife's case. She is admitted to hospital where Joe is looking after her. And it says then, as Dina digs deeper into her case, tension works its way inside their picture-perfect home. Now the carefully constructed lies between them don't just simply threaten the delicate balance of their marriage, they could kill. It is basically just one big toxic story about lies and secrets and betrayal. And the fact that it is just over 250 pages as well. I flew through this book. It is so easy to read. It is classic A.R. Torre. I have not read an A.R. Torre book yet that I haven't liked. So yeah, take from that that what you will. Next up, we have got Dead of Night by Lisa Gray. This is another one that's available on Kindle Unlimited, and this one is 264 pages. It follows the story of Serena, who is a crime writer. She is suffering from the worst writer's block. She hasn't been able to write a word for a very long time. So, hoping for some inspiration, she goes to stay in a secluded clifftop house. But as always, this house has a dark history, and 30 years previously, a young family disappeared without a trace in the middle of the night. And Serena just gets this feeling that something's not quite right about the house, and strange things start happening, as they always do. Serena starts showing interest around this old case, and her curiosity starts getting the better of her. She starts looking into it, but she soon realises that there are some people that want the past to stay hidden. I absolutely loved the isolated, creepy setting of this book. I think I have said multiple times on this channel, I love an isolated, creepy setting. I was invested and interested the whole way through. It was fast-paced, it was addictive, and to be honest, I didn't see the twist come in at all. So yeah, this is another one I highly recommend and I thoroughly enjoyed. Next up, we have got The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. This book is 288 pages, and do not let this cover fool you. Do you know what? I have had this book on my shelf for such a long time, and before I actually picked it up, I kept thinking it was a summer book. I thought it was going to be a cute summer read. The lemons were giving me like Italian villa vibes, and this is actually, I think it's actually been marketed as a gothic suspense thriller, so I'm not entirely sure the cover matches those vibes. It follows the story of two best friends called Emily and Chess. They have been inseparable since childhood. When Chess suggests a girls' trip to Italy, Emily absolutely jumps at the chance. They end up staying in this beautiful villa in Italy, but this villa has a very dark past because in the 1970s, a notorious rock star was staying there with his girlfriend and some other musicians, and one of the musicians ended up dead. This is actually such a strange book to talk about because there's so many layers to the plot, because this rock star's girlfriend at the time then goes on to write a famous horror novel. Like, that is what launches her career, this horror novel. And the people who have read the book believe that her novel is loosely based on the events that took place that fateful night. So we've got all those different things going on. And then we go back to present day with Emily, where she's staying in this villa with her best friend Chess. She starts getting really interested in the villa's history. And when she starts piecing together what actually happened, she starts to think maybe it wasn't just a case of schmecks, drugs, rock and roll gone wrong, but something a little bit more sinister. It says there at the bottom of the blurb, as secrets from the past come to light, equally dangerous betrayals from the present also emerge, and it begins to look like the villa will claim another victim before the summer ends. Honestly, this book was such an unexpected read for me. I think, like I said, I just expected it to be like a bit of a cute summer thriller, but it did definitely have gothic undertones. If, like me, you've had this on your radar for a while and you've been put off by the cover because you're thinking it's giving summer vibes, it's definitely not a summer book, and I urge you to pick it up. Next up, we have got Run on Red by Noelle Eiley, and this one is a little bit of a cheat for this video because it is actually 310 pages, but I'm hoping you'll let me off the 10 pages. This is another one that I had on my TBR for such a long time. It was on my Kindle for ages. I had it on one of the daily Kindle deals, and I kept putting it off because it has only got a 3.9 star rating on Amazon. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I am so heavily influenced by things like that, and I need to stop it. I need to just ignore ratings, ignore Goodreads ratings, and just go into it and make my own mind up. Because in my opinion, this book was so good. This kicks off from the very first page. It follows the story of two girls called Laura and Olivia. They are in their car driving to a summer party, and on their way to this summer party, they start getting tailgated and harassed by the car behind them. And to be honest, the concept in itself is absolutely terrifying, and it was terrifying to read. This is another one that gave me the worst anxiety while I was reading it, but it just gets more and more sinister as the book goes on, and it goes from this kind of like terrifying car chase to a cat and mouse chase on foot and a fight for survival. And again, I'm not going to say too much more because I don't want to spoil anything, but their situation just becomes more and more desperate And this is another one that literally gave me the worst palpitations while I was reading it. You know those books when you read it and you just cannot turn the pages quick enough? This is exactly what I was like when I was reading this book. Next up, we have got The Good Lie by A.R. Torre. This is another one that's available on Kindle Unlimited, and this one is 257 pages. It follows the story of Gwen Moore. She is a psychiatrist and she is an expert on serial killers. One such serial killer she's been working with is Randall Thompson, also known as the Bloody Heart Killer, who was convicted of his crimes after his last victim escaped and identified him as the Bloody Heart Killer, which is pretty damning evidence, right? However, there's always a however. There's a spanner being thrown in the works because Randall Thompson's lawyer, who coincidentally was also the father of one of the Bloody Heart Killer's victims, doesn't believe that Randall is guilty. This is another one that is full of secrets. There are so many layers to this story. It is full of twists and turns. I could not put it down while I was reading it. It was one of those books that, you know, you don't want to put it down. You don't want to stop reading. And when you have to put it down, you cannot wait to pick it back up. This was one of those books. And to be honest, I actually think this is one of the most underrated thriller books. Next up, we have got Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. And this one is another little bit of a cheat because it is 304 pages. So you'll have to let me off the 4 pages. And I know what most of you are probably thinking. She is like a stuck record because I have mentioned this book on my channel so many times, but I couldn't leave it out of this one because I actually think it tells such an incredible story for such a short book. Doesn't it look bigger than 300 pages as well? I picked it off my shelf and I was like, no way is that only 300 pages, but it is. So this basically follows the story of Grady Green. He is an author suffering from the worst writer's block, another author with bad writer's block, because a year ago his wife disappeared and he hasn't been able to write a word since. He ends up on this isolated Scottish island. It is one of my favourite settings for a book. Alice Feeney does isolated locations so well. And the setting of this book was so creepy and eerie, and I absolutely loved it. So he goes to stay on this island. He's staying in this cabin in the middle of a very creepy wood. There's this mist that just descends on the island out of nowhere. And whilst Grady is staying on this island, he thinks he sees his wife that went missing a year ago, and he starts chasing this sighting basically. And that's all I'm going to say on this book. I do feel like this is a little bit of a Marmite book, which I'm really surprised at. People seem to either love it or hate it. I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It is classic Alice Feeney. I actually think this is Alice Feeney's best book yet. Honestly, I cannot fault it. I cannot think of a bad thing to say about it. I love the characters. I love the setting. I love the pacing. I love the twists. Like, that's all I've got to say. Next up, we have got Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane. This is another one. I think this is like 301 pages or something, so it's slightly over. And it's another one that's available on Kindle Unlimited. This is another one I feel like I have mentioned a few times previously on my channel, but again, I couldn't leave it out of this video. It follows the story of Gina, who after a freak accident discovers that her husband has been living a secret life as a very prolific serial killer. Gina soon realises that she must create a new identity for herself and her children, and she must escape this absolute chaos that her husband has left behind. So she does just that. But Gina has got online trolls and stalkers who are convinced that she was involved in her husband's crimes, and they are getting dangerously close to her new location. This was another book that had me sweating while I was reading it. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. I was so stressed reading this book. And just to kind of give you a little bit of context with what we're dealing with in this book, Gina's new house has a panic room in it. So, I mean, those are the vibes we're working with. And to be honest, I was ready to chuck myself into Gina's panic room while I was reading this book. I was so stressed. It is another one that is fast-paced. It is addictive. It is gripping. Things kick off again from the very first page. So yeah, another one I highly recommend. Next up, we have got Never Lie by Frida McFadden. This is another one that's available on Kindle Unlimited, and this is 296 pages. This is another one that people seem to either love or hate, and I do get why some people don't like it, but I read for vibes. I am a very surface level reader. I don't read to pick out plot holes or anything like that, and I had a bloody fabulous time when I was reading this book. So yeah, I loved it. It follows the story of Trisha and Ethan. They are newlyweds looking for their perfect home, and they go to view a home that used to belong to a psychiatrist called Adrienne Hale. Sorry, I forgot her name then. So yeah, they go to view this house, but they get trapped there by a winter storm. So this is another one actually that's perfect to read like winter time. Stuck in the house and with nothing else to do, Trisha starts going snooping like we all would, and she stumbles across some audio tapes which are of interviews between Adrienne and her patients. Do you know what? I absolutely love any elements like this in a book. I love listening, I'm saying I bloody read it, but you know what I mean. I love the audio elements, like with the tapes and the interviews and anything to do with psychiatry or asylums or anything like that. So this book had my name all over it anyway. And then it says here in the blurb, with each tape, another shocking piece of the puzzle falls into place and a web of lies slowly unravels. But by the time Trisha reaches the final cassette, the one that reveals the entire horrifying story, it will be too late. So yeah, it's basically about this psychiatrist who went missing. She vanished without a trace, and Trisha starts listening to these cassette tapes to try and piece together and work out what actually happened to her. This is classic Frida McFadden, to be honest. It is fast-paced. It is easy to read. I find Frida's books so easy to read. And yeah, despite some reviews, I personally loved it. Next up, we have got another one that's available on Kindle Unlimited, Phantom Limb by Lucinda Berry, and this book is 258 pages. What I will say before going into this book is definitely check trigger warnings, because Lucinda Berry does not hold back with some of the content in her books, and this book is quite dark. It is a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. So I will just read the top bit of the blurb, because I just think sometimes a blurb can do a better job than I can. So it's about two twin sisters. Emily and Elizabeth spend their childhood locked in a bedroom and terrorised by a mother who drinks too much and disappears for days. The identical twins are rescued by a family determined to be their saviours, but there's some horrors love can't erase. So I've got to be really careful what I'm saying about this book, because I don't want to give anything away. It is about these two sisters and kind of like the aftermath of their traumatic childhood. You've got the flashbacks from the childhood. One of the sisters ends up in a psychiatric hospital with a massive chunk of her memory gone. She can't remember what has happened, why she's in the hospital. And the doctors in the hospital are trying to delve deeper into her memory to see what actually happened. I've actually read a few Lucinda Berry books, and most of them I've rated around the 3-star mark. I haven't hated them, but I haven't really loved them either. This one is, I think this is actually my favourite Lucinda Berry book, is it? I haven't read all of her books, mind, but of the ones I have read, I did really enjoy this. Next up, we have got Geneva by Richard Armitage. This is 288 pages, and I feel like this is really underrated as well. I don't see many, if any, people talking about it. The tagline of the book says something like, "She can't trust anyone, not even herself." And it follows the story of Sarah. She has everything she could ever have wished for. She has a glittering scientific career. She's got a husband that adores her. But Sarah is showing early signs of Alzheimer's, and her only hope for a cure is this controversial new technology being launched in Switzerland. Her and her husband travel to Switzerland, and whilst they're there, her memory starts getting worse. And you know what? This is another one that gave me the worst anxiety, because Sarah was an unreliable narrator because of her own memory loss. She gets to a point where she doesn't trust anybody around her. She doesn't even trust herself. And again, that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to spoil anything, but I absolutely loved this book. Do you know, I actually did this on audio and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love Richard Armitage. He narrated it actually, him and Nicola Walker. For those of you who don't know who these people are, Richard Armitage has been in a lot of the Netflix adaptations of Harlan Coben's books, and Nicola Walker, she's been in a lot of UK TV series, I think. She is a phenomenal actress, so those two together were absolutely incredible for this audiobook. So if this book is on your radar, then I actually really recommend the audio for it. Next up, we have got Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. And this is another one that's slightly cheating, because this book is, well, it says it's 305, but the 305th page is like a paragraph. So it's like 304 pages and a quarter. This follows the story of Geo, and she discovered that her first love was a serial killer. He was arrested and put away, but he escaped, and now he is making his way back to Geo, one body at a time. It actually says there, now bodies have started turning up, killed in exactly the same way as before. The message is clear. He's making his way back to her, one murder at a time. Do you know what? This is classic Jennifer Hillier. This is quite a dark book as well. So again, please go into it with caution. Check any trigger warnings before you go into it. It's another one that gave me the worst anxiety while I was reading it. It is so fast-paced and addictive. I couldn't put it down. I had an afternoon off one Sunday, and I sat down to read it, and I was glued to the book and didn't put it down until I'd finished it. It was so good. Next up, we have got The Defense by Steve Kavanagh. And do you know what? This is another one I'm slightly cheating because it's 305 pages. But I finished this book. When did I finish it? Was it last week? So I've only recently read it. This is the first book in the Eddie Flynn series. And oh my God, what a book. I had heard nothing but good things about the Eddie Flynn series, and you guys were not wrong. Oh my God, this is another one that I was absolutely sweating while I was reading. It was so high stakes, full of danger. Like, it's literally about Russian mafia. Do you know what? The blurb is tiny. It doesn't give much away at all. It just says, Eddie Flynn used to be a con artist, then he became a lawyer. Turns out the two weren't that different. So yeah, and it says he vowed to never set foot in a courtroom again, but now he doesn't have a choice. So this literally kicks off from the very first page again. Eddie's daughter has been kidnapped by the Russian mafia, and they are forcing him into a situation that he literally has no choice about. A dangerous situation. I don't want to give anything away because I actually think you should go into this book blind, because with each revelation, my jaw was literally on the floor. I was like, oh my God, surely not. Surely they're not going to get him to do that. I actually really loved Eddie's character because he used to be a con artist. He's a little bit flawed, you know? He's not the perfect lawyer character that you see in some like courtroom thrillers. I mean, I personally bloody love a courtroom thriller book. And this was so fast-paced and so stressful. But yeah, I cannot wait to carry on with the rest of the series. And last but not least, for my recommendations, I do have a tiny little TBR pile of snack-sized thriller books that I want to quickly share with you before I finish the video. We have got Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is another one that's available on Kindle Unlimited, and another one that is slightly cheating because it is 310 pages. But this book actually read like it was more like 200 pages. Oh my God, I devoured this book like in one sitting. I couldn't put it down. This is another one actually that seems to be a massive opinion divider, particularly on social media. Whenever I recommend it, I either get people going, oh my God, yes, that's the best book ever, or people saying that is the worst book I've ever read. So I'm like, it follows the story of Adam and Amelia. They are a married couple, and in classic Alice Feeney style, they go away for a romantic weekend to an isolated location in Scotland, which doesn't actually end up being remotely romantic at all, to be honest. The trip takes a bit of a dark turn. They lose power because of a storm, and all of the secrets and lies and betrayals start coming out during this weekend. The tagline at the top says, marriage can be murder. Do you know what? I just feel like Alice Feeney is the queen of toxic relationships. She writes a toxic domestic thriller so well. It is one of my absolute favourite thriller books that I always recommend to people, especially anyone looking to like dip their toe into the thriller genre, anybody new to the genre. I mean, even seasoned thriller readers, I will forever recommend this book. And it has one of my favourite twists ever in a book that had me so floored, I had to go back and reread the previous few chapters because I thought I had read it wrong. You know when you're reading and then you're like, what? And you think you have misunderstood what the twist actually is. So you have to go back and reread the previous few chapters for it to all make sense. This, honestly, one of my absolute faves, loved it. And then we've got a little snack-sized thriller book TBR pile here. We have got Good Half Gone by Taryn Fisher. This is 302 pages, I think. Do you know what? I'm not entirely sure what this is about. I believe it's set in like psychiatric ward or a asylum or something like that. Oh yeah, now an adult, Iris wants one thing, proof. And if the police still won't help, she'll have to find her own way. by interning at the isolated Shoal Island Hospital for the criminally insane. Oh my God. I mean, I think I have said till I'm blue in the face, I absolutely love an asylum, psychiatric unit, anything setting like that. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Then we have got The Senator's Wife by Liv Constantine. Is it Constantine or Constantine? I'm not entirely sure. I have heard so many good things about Liv Constantine's books. This is $299. Got this in by the skin of my teeth. I don't really know what this is about. I think this is like a woman suspects that her seemingly perfect employee is secretly plotting to steal her husband, her reputation, even her life in this seductive novel of psychological suspense. Don't know, it sounds fabulous. It's got a bloody stunning cover. And look at that flop. Next up we have got Good Night Beautiful by Amy Malloy. This is a little tiny one, 289 pages. You love him, he loves you, but who is she? I actually haven't got a clue what this is about. A handsome psychotherapist, his lonely wife, and in his home office, a ceiling vent. You'd listen to, wouldn't you? This sounds really good. Psychotherapist again. Bloody love it. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever seen anybody talking about this book. I don't even know why it's on my shelf, to be honest. It's obviously one I've just bought on a whim and completely forgotten about, but it sounds really good. Next up, we have got The Butcher and the Wren by Elena Urquhart. Urquhart? How do you say that? I don't know how you say that surname. This one is 259 pages. I was actually just looking in the back and there's a photo of Jeffrey Dahmer in it. So I don't know if that's relevant to the book. I, again, have no idea what this book is about. Oh, it's about a serial killer. Wren was never afraid of the dark until she learned that some monsters are real. In deepest Louisiana, a serial killer with a taste for medical experimentation is completing his most ambitious project yet. How have I not heard about this book before? I mean, I'm saying I haven't heard about it. Obviously I have, otherwise it wouldn't be on my shelf. But this is another one I feel like I've bought ages ago and it's just been on my shelf rotting away and I've completely forgotten about. That sounds so good. And then I've got two more. The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers. This is really short, 257 pages. The author of this, I think she's got her own true crime podcast. So that's the reason I picked this up, because it sounded like I was just really interested by the author's background. Yeah, a twisty thriller from the host of the Crime Junkie podcast. And I believe this is about a woman or two women who are both desperately searching for their sisters who went missing, and they kind of work together to find out what happened to their sisters, I think. But yeah, this is another one that I'm really, really looking forward to. And this one, last but not least, The Arrangement by Kirsten Maudglin. Is that how you say her surname? This is book one. Is it in a 3-book series? I can't really remember. This is quite short as well. I'm sure this is only, yeah, it's like 200 pages, 209 pages. So this is like bite-sized. It's not even snack-sized. This is about another toxic couple, I think. So yeah, basically they're married and they have got 2 rules in their marriage. They will each date someone new once a week and they will never discuss what happens on the dates. But I think one of them breaks one of the rules. It's just all about lies and secrets and betrayals. Can they truly trust the person they share a life with? Or will the vicious lies that have mounted over the years destroy everything they've built? This sounds really good. And I have not seen one bad review for this book, ever. Like, all of my book friends who have read it have absolutely raved about it. So yeah, this is another one. I mean, I don't know why I haven't read it yet, to be honest. It's 200 pages, so I could literally read this in a couple of hours, you know? And that is it. That brings me to the end of my snack size thriller book video. Thank you so much for sticking with me and my croaky voice. It was touch and go a few points in the video. I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna have to stop. But we got there in the end. I really hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you got some inspiration for your own reading lists. Please let me know in the comments if you've got any snack size thriller book recommendations for me as well. I mean, as a mood reader, I always get to a point where I don't really know what I want to read, and when I'm not really sure what mood I'm in, I will nearly always just pick up a short thriller book that I don't really have to think about. So yeah, I'm always on the hunt for some shorter thriller books. If you did enjoy watching, please don't forget to hit that little subscribe button below. I would absolutely love it if you decided to stick around. I have got so many more videos planned that I really hope you're going to love. So yeah, if you would like to stick around and follow for that, then I would absolutely love to have you. And yeah, I'm going to go and get myself a drink and give my croaky voice a rest, and I'll catch you all next time.